47-33.
Okay.
They whooped our can of whoop ass because they got punked last night.
Okay, we record now.
Okay.
Stand by.
Yo. GGP already? Welcome to the space where the truth gets spoken. Trap snares popping, hands up, energy open. Where the chains get broken and the culture stays golden. We move with grit, say grit. We rise with grace, say grits. We push for progress. Progress. No justice, no sleep. Snare snapping, keep that bounce alive. Unapologetic, black, unfiltered, unshaken. We the future in motion, history in the making. Let's go! Every step, every voice, every beat that we speak. We the rhythm of the people rising week after week. From the block to the ballot, the mic to the streets. We bring fire to the system till the mission's complete. Turn it up, let it hit, let it rise in your chest. This is power, this is purpose, yo, we won't rest. So lean in, tune up, let your spirit digest. This is grit, grace, and progress. Yeah, feel that, hold that, let it settle in your soul. Grace, power in the place. Grace and progress, say it. Grace, power in the place. Grace and progress, say it. Grace and progress, say it. Grace and progress.
What's going on, everybody? The weather's good everywhere. We ain't got no snow down
Hey.
here. It was like 80, close to 80. I heard y'all was like about 70 something this past weekend. Wasn't it close to 70 in Cleveland? Something like that?
It almost got
Almost.
70.
Oh, shoot,
Almost got
man.
70.
That's awesome. So I got
No
my
snow
man,
on the road.
Greg Battle here, and my man E.B. Smith. So how was your weekend, Greg? What was it like for you?
It's been a very busy weekend. Busy weekend. But the family's good. Everybody's in their right places, in their right minds. So I'm grateful.
Got you.
So,
Glad to hear. What about you, EB?
Yard work.
It said yard work. Yard work.
Weather's good. Get out and get it.
Right. No, that ain't nothing wrong with that. Mine was pretty decent. I relaxed at the house, babysitted my granddaughter on Sunday. Saturday, I just chilled out a little bit. Got out a little bit and drove, got me some Popeyes chicken. You know, I had to get that southern tasting chicken. I just had a taste for some fried chicken. But it was interesting, man. You know, I keeping up with what's going on with this Iran war. And everybody think this is the Armageddon call right here. And I'm like, y'all. I was like, oh, like you gonna do it on your own, right? So,
Like everything else, they're using it,
right.
using religion as a way to justify bad behavior.
So, just get a quick reset. What is your opinion about what's going on with this war in Iran right now? Either one of y'all, it doesn't matter.
go right ahead.
I just think what we're doing is a repeat every time. And so it's very unfortunate for the people that vote conservative Republican, but every time they get in office, they lower the taxes for the rich, raise the
Hmm.
taxes in the economy for the regular people, and start wars. It either is a pattern or a conspiracy, right? They
Right.
both mean the same thing. So yeah, I feel sorry for the people that actually believe in a conservative view because they keep getting the same thing, and this war is going to have the same ending.
Right.
We cannot fight people in a desert We got 19, 20-year-old kids. They just talk about committing to the ground.
Right.
These people have been around for 3,000 years. They are used to the heat. They are used to the terrain. It's a very dangerous situation for any of our kids to be in. Right or black, doesn't matter.
Oh, totally get it. No, I hear you. I hear you on that. I see we're gonna have a guest, another guest pop up. Got Sharon. Let me get her
Yes.
set up over here. But Greg,
So
what's your
while you're
opinion?
doing that,
Yeah, what's your opinion about what's going on?
you know, the idiot in chief, and I love the analogy bozo.
Right?
So bozo is playing with his army men. I told y'all about that earlier.
Yeah,
You know, they wouldn't let him play with his army men his first time through.
yeah,
He figured out how to tear down the guardrails, and now he wants to play with his army men, and he thinks that he's the king of the world,
yeah.
and I got to be on top of the hill. And you know, he is just a prime example of a child that has never been loved.
Right.
So he has no love for people. He has no understanding of family. I mean, anytime you sleeping with somebody while your wife is pregnant, that's just all bad in my eyes. It
Right,
just,
right.
you know, the facts speak for themselves.
Yeah,
And then you want to protect people that molest children.
right.
So how could he ever be in his right mind? But you let him have all of this thing without pushback. Why?
Mm-hmm.
Because you don't want your name dragged into it
Right.
because you know the dirt that you done did. Now, my dirt, I done paid my mens, right? I did my fourth step.
Right, right, right.
You
No, I hear you.
can't hurt me with what I know about me.
Right. No,
So what you know about me is not anything that will hurt me.
right. No, I
So
get
now
it.
I can focus on love.
What
So
about you, Sharon?
that's where I'm at.
What do you think? What is it? What's
Hey,
your first?
Sharon.
This is a quick. We just taking a quick take of this thing with this Iran war right quick before we get into our topics.
Um, Listening to those that I value their opinions. Um, First of all, it's not necessary.
Yeah.
It's just something that he's doing because he knows he can, pull strings and nobody's gonna stop him. But it's senseless.
Right.
That's about the only thing I can say is senseless.
Right. No,
Absolutely
it makes
right.
sense. It makes sense. Um, I look at it as a census war too. But I've been going back and forth with this. Well, we know that every country that we're dealing with, when it comes down to war or weapons, we instigated that decades ago. Just like with Iran, we are part of the instigation to put them in the situation they're in. So, but what I do have a concern about is that some of these people that we've seen just through examples over the years, some of the terroristic activities are true. I'm not saying that the U.S. doesn't have a pattern and a characteristic of being terrorists as well, because we've done our share of bombing folks and
Mhm.
doing,
Mhm.
sniping folks, taking them out. Heck, if you think about it, when we got that Venezuelan president, that was a terroristic move, wasn't it? That, that was like a terrorist act right there.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
it goes back and forth. But what I am concerned about is some of the people that, I mean, I think I mentioned this last week, like it's like a generation after you do something wrong to somebody, that next generation wants revenge for the people that's been hurt. And then that cycle keeps going on and on. So you think about it, the son is now leading Iran. Okay, they just
And you
about
done killed my dad.
you didn't kill my
And you
dad.
done killed my
Exactly,
dad.
exactly. So how can you not have a sense of rebellion? Um, so anyway, those are the things that's been on my mind. So I've just been really just trying to seek God's wisdom and direction on how to handle my heart during the situation. Because I'm angry at our country, and I'm also angry with the fact that this can escalate. And I'm not saying there's a right or wrong in it. So that's just my opinion on it. But Today's show is going to be a
I,
little different. Go ahead. You want to say something?
I think the most embarrassing thing about it, and those of you who are standing on podiums should speak louder of what they're saying. So it makes a lot of the young, gullible young people believe that this. I just heard a speech, and I'm kind of alluding to something here. It's saying they're doing God's work because of all these other reasons. It's wrong. You got to say it's wrong, and we need not put a religious context in any of it.
Right.
It's
Totally
wrong.
agree. Totally agree.
Period. And we can't govern the whole world, right? We got a lot of nerves governing people, and we shooting people because of immigration.
Yeah.
This is dumb, right?
Yeah.
So to me,
But-
that's the biggest travesty of all.
But what do you expect? What do you expect? I live in a country that is addicted to the illusion of power and control. And I know that my God has all the power.
Yeah.
My God is the same God as your God, is the same God as their God, because he put life on this rock. Don't no life exist down here without the blessing of God. And there's more life down here than just us human beings.
Yeah.
Because there's life without language. There are trees, there are animals, there are people that don't have language. But here we are because we think we can communicate with one another, but we don't listen to each other.
True.
We don't learn how to love each other. We don't give anyone the right to be what God created them to be. And not one person showed up on this planet requesting that I be Black, or I be white,
Right.
or I be Puerto Rican, I be Colombian. Nobody
Right.
got to choose. It was, do you want to live? I got a job for you.
Yeah.
Okay, Lord, send me. I'll go. But that's me and my Christian faith. Somebody that walks a different faith, they receive it a different way.
Right.
But it's about being in community. We forgot about community because somebody invented capitalism.
Says invented, huh? Okay. No, I hear you. I hear you. Well, today's broadcast is called "The Cost of the Bridge." The cost of the bridge wealth, weathering, and the AI frontier. Um, so this is what it's about. This episode, we're gonna peel back the layers a little bit of what it means to be in a sandwich generation in the Black community. It's more than just a busy schedule. It's a political and biological reality. So we got a group of people here. I'm not saying none of us are experts, but we do have experiences in our lives. And so the thing about it is that we have a wealth leak. Now, how does this lack of long-term infrastructure and how it drains our intergenerational wealth? So when I say what I mean by that is a lot of times um, in our communities, I know Greg right now, he's taking care of his parents. Sharon's taking care of her mom. I go back and forth to Cleveland every now and then, not actually to take care of my parents, but to check in on them. But I know at some point it may come to that. I'm not sure how EB is doing with his parents, if he's checked, if he's like what their situation is like. But when they come with the wealth leak, what I mean by the wealth leak is that a lot of times we aren't prepared with our families at a young enough age that when these things happen, that we transition into it where things are more easily handled financially. I know, like my mom's friend, when she got cancer and she knew that she was going to die, she had this trust set up where things going with her finances, and I was like, wow, really? The thing I always hear about when you got a will, you separate you do what you're going to do through your will, but from a standpoint of having money in a trust and also have money that's invested where it can accumulate, where when something happens, you can go to this finance and be like, here, boom, this can help relieve some of the financial pressure off the rest of the family. And so I also realized that there were programs and organizations available out there that we didn't know about, but some of our counterparts, oh yeah, you can go to such and such, or you can go do this. Go over here. They help people for this situation. And it just really having your peer circle, your community rather, of people for every issue. We have it for our election group, our political people. We have it for our gun rights group. We have all these communities that we put ourselves in but if we actually put ourselves in a community of I don't know how to work the right term you want to use, but not necessarily healthcare care providers, but um, people who are knowledgeable about healthcare and the long-term care with our family members, that community of people. Um, I want to show a video first, and hopefully this will help a little bit of what I'm trying to say. I thought this was very interesting, and if I get this video to play right, we'll be good. We'll be rolling. So let me see if this thing will play right. I didn't want to do that, so I want to end the broadcast. Cancel that.
Faced by African Americans when they reach their golden years. Joining me now is author Raymond Jetson, whose new book is titled Aging While Black. Raymond, welcome to our town hall.
Stephen, thank you so very much. It is a joy to connect with you and to be a part of this important conversation.
Yeah. So let's start here. Aging While Black. The title itself intimates the unique circumstances that African Americans face in this space, caregiving. Of course, I always say that if you take any situation and add race or racial dimension to it, race is often an aggravator in that situation. It makes things more difficult, more challenging, or worse. Talk about the unique circumstances here that affect aging for our community.
So thank you again. I would say in the book that I just wrote, the top line statement is that aging in America is not a race neutral experience. And so very often we talk about aging and the critical components of aging as if it is a universally shared experience.
Mm-hmm.
And the reality is that for African Americans, the American experience has been different in every way. So why wouldn't it be when it comes to aging? And in particular, as it relates to caregiving, we first of all find the tension between the systemic inequities that exist and the cultural expectations that are attached to caregiving. And so the economic strain that caregiving places, especially on Black women who reduce their work hours or exit the workforce early to provide caregiving services to family members and loved ones, which leads to lower retirement savings and financial insecurity later in life. We have health disparities, which are well documented, that Black elders are more likely to experience chronic conditions that require caregiving. And you couple that with the complex needs in a healthcare system that lacks cultural competency as a general statement, you will see how these things are aggravated. And then in terms of our community, there is this strong cultural value placed on taking care of our own, which causes people to oftentimes bear circumstances in ways that are not healthy for them or the people in which they seek to provide care. And then lastly, I would suggest that uh, Black elders and caregivers are often overlooked or underrepresented in mainstream aging services.
Mm-hmm.
And this cacophony of circumstances creates a situation where aging while Black and caregiving while Black is aggravated greatly.
A Detroit family caregivers initiative called
So
100 Caring Congregations.
I'm gonna stop it there. I see Sharon dipped out on us, like she took the camera off. But do you guys get where I'm coming from now after hearing him speak? Did that make sense?
Yeah.
It does. And
Yeah, being in that arena right now, and that's why I actually was still listening, but I wanted to go in an area where I could freely talk.
Okay, got you. Tilt your camera back just a little. YouTube, yeah, there you go. Okay, I hear you. You can freely talk. But yeah, go ahead, Sharon. I mean, I would love
yeah,
to hear
go
what you,
ahead while you got a chance.
I would love to hear what you have to say about this.
So there's so many dynamics, so many dynamics to this. And I don't know how to launch it, but I really want to launch something that speaks to caregiving because people, most of the time, they don't really understand it until you get into it. And there's a lot of dynamics. Just to give you an example, I was just talking to a cousin of mine. She's in her early 80s. She's still viable, doing things on her own. She lives in a different city than her daughter does. And her daughter is trying to get her to move where she is, which is about an hour away. And she said, I don't like that city. And my daughter has her job, she has her children, she's dating now. She went through a divorce, she's dating now. Well, if she moves there right now, her daughter really does not have time for her. And so my advice to her was stay there as long as you can, take care of yourself, and you feel comfortable. Because I actually feel like I forced my mother to move here with me too soon. But it was basically because a lot of times we could not contact her. It was as simple as she would not keep her phone where we could stay in contact with her. I had family members that lived right there with her, and they called me, Sharon, have you heard from A. Burt? We can't get in contact with her. So I actually moved her here and I took her out of her environment too soon when she was viable to still take care of herself. And so what happens is I'm single, but sometimes parents don't realize you're moving into with an adult offspring, not a child anymore. So she and I have this struggle between her understanding that I'm an adult, I'm not a child. And so luckily she can still take care of herself. My dad left part of his, she has her own retirement. My dad left part of his retirement for her. So financially she's okay. And so she also sometimes I feel she smothers me too much. And what I mean by that is even though she takes care of herself, there's still a lot of things that I have to do for her. She doesn't drive anymore. And a lot of times I just need that mental break. But what often happens in families that I'm finding, there's always that one person. I don't care. There's only very few families that I can tell you where the responsibility is distributed among the people that could take care of that loved one. And so when I tell you, I mean, we could talk about this all day long, but there's a lot of dynamics that a lot of people need to understand, and not just the caregiver, but the parent as well. There's a lot of things that they need to understand. A lot of times they cross boundaries that they should not cross because they don't understand. My daughter or my son is giving up a lot of times your life to fit them in. And so I need to be conscious of that and understand that that person needs to be taken care of as well. But when I tell you there's a lot of dynamics that goes with that, and like I said, I want to start some type of support group or information group so that people understand what it's like, what to prepare for, and how to plan for it so that it's healthy for everybody, because oftentimes it's not a healthy situation.
Right. No, that makes sense a lot. And I was smiling here in the back. I had you, you was on full screen, so but in the background, I'm smiling because I know your mom, and I love your mom to death. I just love her, and you know, I can see what you're saying. She has to understand that you're a grown adult. Also, I can see it. I can just see it. And but the struggle that a lot of people also are seeing are those that have children in the home or young children as well as taking care of that parent. I know like my dad, his siblings, is 10 of them. Well, my grandmother, she started going through dementia, or I'm not sure if it was Alzheimer's or dementia. At when I was young, I was like, my maybe my middle school years, but to see, different siblings have to go by the house and
eat.
take care of her, do things with her, help move her, and do different things. That was my first time seeing the family taking care of another family member in that manner. I saw that young, and that particular household, where it was three of my aunts and I had an uncle that was there, I saw them rotate and how they worked that out to where not only did they take care of my grandmother, they took care of my grandfather before he passed. Then I had two aunts that came from Tennessee. They took care of them before they passed. And then I had an uncle who passed maybe about 4 years ago. They took care of him. He was like back and forth, always at the house, like almost like he lived there, but he ended up getting sick. I watched my cousin who was going through issues with health issues. He moved in with them. They took care of him. Now my aunts are in there, they were in their 80s doing this. They're like pushing 90 right now. And I'm looking at them like, who's going to take care of them? You know,
You are.
yeah, no, I mean, I got that. We are as a family, we will. But what I'm saying is, as a,
But let me jump in and share this dynamic. Because I gratefully only have a brother. And my dad's been bedridden 3 years, but that back in 2015, my brother and I had come together and talking, and he and I came to an understanding that my parents had prepared to live till they'd be 90. My mom was able to bank all of her checks, all the years that she's been working. I do not handle money well. Remember, I'm the
yeah,
recovering addict,
right.
so I'm the idiot when it comes to money. But he needed to feel that I understood when they chose him to be guardian.
Hmm.
And my brother's a manager, so we have always shared our parents,
Hmm.
right? So we're spending their money on them. And we remember watching both my mom and dad take care of their parents, and the arguments that happened when siblings came into town and had an opinion about, well, you should be doing this and you doing that. My dad, I was a fly on the wall. He said, look here, you can help out any kind of way you want to. What you're not going to do is come in and dictate what should happen and then leave.
Right.
Because those who are here do that. So for me, you made a false statement when you said I'm taking care of my parents. I'm on the team that's taking care of my parents. My daughter chips in, my wife chips in, my brother's wife chips in. We have family that comes over and they spend time, and everybody has this loving environment that my mom has always kept around my dad.
Hmm. It makes sense.
So the process, you don't wait till the end of it to try to fix it. You try to prepare for it. What that meant was my parents had to swallow a little pride and talk about their finances and what it's like. And it's like, if we're going to do this, then we have to do it the way that we know. Me and my brother are electronic people, right? The technology's there. For the first time, my parents saw all of their finances in one place. And what they thought they had about 4 times more.
Hmm. Yeah,
Because
that's the thing that we're
they be padding, right? They be padding and
right.
shortcutting, but they now are in this end time. And what we don't know as a culture, as an African people, is that there were, just like they have doulas for being born,
Hmm.
there are end of life doulas and doulos,
Hmm. Yeah,
right? We never think about that.
yeah,
So hospice is something that we don't find out about until it's way too late.
yeah.
When the hospice could have been and assistance through the whole process.
Right, right.
Now, I keep the management company and them at bay because they're not going to rush us into making decisions we're not prepared to make.
Right.
But then we still advocate for what we need
Well, you guys
and
gave an
don't bring
example.
no BS.
You two gave two great examples that I was looking for when I put this together was the infrastructure. Sharon has said that how her dad had a retirement set up for him and his wife, so that when he passed, that there was money there, she could be self-sufficient when he passed. Then you have it where you said your mom had saved all her checks, so more likely your dad was the provider in that sense of everything.
My
And
dad did not allow my mom to pay a bill.
right, so that's what I'm
Your
saying.
money is yours.
So she was
Your
able to
money
save
is
it.
yours.
So she was able to save it, which then went, into a savings, or you invested it, or wherever it might have happened, where you could be prepared for it. Well, there's so many families aren't prepared like that. And I know EB
Right.
hasn't spoke yet. You want to chime in on this, EB?
Well, my hat goes off to both of them.
Yeah.
There's some experiences going on in my life right now. My sister's doing a lot of that. There's three things. Sharon's right. We could do a whole program just on this. There's so many dynamics, right? But I'm going to try to cover as quickly as I can. Information, education gives you preparation.
Right.
Right. There's little information, there's little education, and so it's hard to prepare. There are a few dynamics that I look at when I hear stories like this, and then I see what's going on even in my family. Is there's a social issue, right? Cultural issue, right? Sharon was talking about, having to remind her mother that she's grown. With part of the culture that we have, our culture is no matter, it's controversial, but we are a matriarchal culture, right? Do what I say. That comes from the mom. Mostly, she sets the tone. Some people say the father no. In most of the homes that I something happens. I mean, I think about and I think about you too because I have a good friend that lost his mom. He stayed in the same house. He gave up a really good music career to stay at home with his mom and take care of his mom. She ended up never ever. I mean, for the 20 years that I knew he was taking care of her, I think she barely left the second floor. Right? Think about that. She barely left the second floor. He went out to play lottery when he came back. She was at the bottom of the steps, passed away. Right? The house had been paid for 15 years. But when she passed, he realized that she had never transferred the deed into anybody's name. So now they spend the next 3 or 4 years fighting for the house that had been paid for 15 years, but it got to go through probate. He's the only one left to take care of it. So it's like, to me,